doing really well this week and enjoying the beautiful weather we finally have here in the UK. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm absolutely loving being outside as much as possible. I'm having my teas outside, my cup of coffee in the morning, my very all important cup of coffee in the morning. It's just glorious. Everything's growing, everything's lush, everything's beautiful. I just love it, love it, love it. So this week I've got quite a lot to show you. Of course, as always, which is great news, I have made a start on preparing for my up and coming holiday. So I'm going to share with you some packing tips. I've prepared a packing list that might be useful for you. I'm going to link that down below for you so you'll be able to print it off, hopefully yourself if you need it as well. All sorts of bits and pieces I've started doing for that. Nothing's finalised or finished, but I've made a start and I'm going to show with you some of my tips and tricks on how to pack or to make a start on getting things organised, ready for packing. But one tip I will share with you now is, did you know if you put tumble dryer sheets in your suitcase, your clothes will smell fabulous throughout the whole of your journey? And if you keep things in your suitcase whilst on holiday, I don't. I tend to put them in the wardrobes and things when I get there. But if you do live out of your suitcase, keep the tumble dryer sheets in there and your clothes will smell lovely all holiday. But you didn't know that one, did you? Anyway, the Invisible Chef has also done a fabulous duck recipe, which he said went wrong. We shall see, but I'll explain why as the video goes on. And actually it didn't go wrong at all. It was just an alternative version as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Let's get into it. Well, it's good to see that everybody is as busy as me today. Clearly. I think they've definitely got the best idea. Might join you actually, lads. Brilliant. Love it. So as you know, I am going on holiday abroad in a couple of weeks or so, and I have started to make a really good effort on preparation. So I just wanted to share with you a couple of little tips and tricks to help you if you are about to organise a holiday or are going on a holiday soon. And there may be a couple of things here that, well, I'm sure there's more than a couple of things here that you're already going to know, but some things that you may not know or have forgotten. And this is just a little reminder, if you like. And I've had to do this myself because I actually haven't been abroad for 4 years now. Obviously, I'm mum's registered carer and getting time away is difficult. Plus there was a little thing called a pandemic. That was tricky. Anyway, the first thing to do, I think, is to make a checklist. A pre-holiday checklist is basically a to-do list for the weeks leading up to your holiday to ensure that you have everything you need, your home is safe and secure while you are away, and you can rest assured that your home will be a nice place to come home to as well. I always do quite a big clean of my house pre-holiday, and I sometimes employ a cleaner while I'm on holiday to come into the house so it's fresh and clean, and just little things like the toilets and the bathrooms have been freshened up for coming home. It's always lovely to come home to a nice clean house. And the other thing I do is I also make an online food grocery order to arrive either the day I'm travelling back or the following morning, so that I don't have to worry too much about there not being anything in the house to eat or drink, and I don't have to worry too much about that first day back at home rushing out to the supermarket. So tip number 1, check all your holiday documentation is in order, i.e. your passports, your tickets and your insurance. This is key, as without the right documents in place you may not be able to go at all. Doing it this early means that you have more chance of getting everything sorted in time, especially if you find your passport is out of date. So those kind of documents and those kind of things I do before I actually book the holiday or 6 months in advance of the holiday. And also write on a piece of paper all the contacts that are in your mobile phone that are important to you. God forbid you have your mobile phone stolen or you lose it while you're away and you don't know people's numbers off by heart. You'll have them written down on a piece of paper. You'll be able to contact them to say, I've lost my phone, I've had my phone stolen, etc. And add other contacts to your phone and to that paper list as well, including your insurance company. If you need them while you're away, it's the quickest way to get in touch with them. And actually you are less likely to lose your phone than you are paperwork on holiday. So if you're taking lots of paperwork with you, including your boarding passes, your holiday flight information, your hotel vouchers, your ATOL certificates, all those kind of things. Actually, you're more likely to lose the paper version than on your phone. So make a list of your insurance company's number on your phone and on a paper list as well. Sort out any sitters. So if, like me, you've got fur babies, I've got 3 cats, Albert, Leonard and Mila Bell, and I'm not putting them into a cattery. Albert and Lenny have been to catteries many years, not recently. Obviously I haven't been abroad for the last 4 years, so they haven't been to a cattery for a long time, but they used to go 2 or 3 times a year prior to that, and they were fine. There's a very good one close to where I live and I was quite happy with that. But now I've got the 3, not only would it be very expensive, but they're just not used to it anymore, and Mila has never been in a cattery. Fortunately, I've got a very good friend who lives in the village here where I live, and she's going to cat sit for me, so I'm really pleased about that. And I actually think that cats do prefer to be in their own homes, even if you're not there. So I personally prefer someone coming in that you trust with them and you trust with your home to cat or dog sit, or whatever animals you've got to sit for you. And once you've done your checklist of things in preparation for your holiday, you might want to make another list as well. You might want to make a packing list. Now I have created one of those, and I am going to try, as I said in the introduction, to link it down below for you. If I can't, if you email me on the email address in the description box below, I will email you back a Word or PDF version, whatever you prefer, of the packing list that I have made, and I just find it really useful. But you can write a packing list. Think of everything from suitcases and bags, clothes, entertainment, toiletries, medication. Put everything you can think of down on the list at this stage. You can always delete them if you find you won't actually need them, and due to luggage weight as well, you might have to take a few things out. Or if the hotel might have those items, for example, you might not need to take absolutely everything. Check your bags. Any suitcases or bags that you intend to use for your holiday should be checked now, so that you can fix any damages before it's too close to going away. Check all your locks as well for security. And this year I've treated myself to a new suitcase, which I should link down below from a company called Trip. But I actually bought the suitcase off the Next online website. Absolutely amazing. I did actually go for a large one, and it is actually really quite large, but it's very lightweight. Absolutely love it. There are different colours and different sizes, but as I say, the description is linked down below for you. So I've bought a new suitcase, but I am still going to check that it's fully functioning. It's got like a little digital lock on it that I haven't figured out yet, so I do need to figure out that and hope that it all works and will continue to work, etc. So check all your bags, even your bags for going to the beach with, that the straps are okay. You don't want the first day on the beach, get down to the beach and everything falls out your bag. Cancel any one-time deliveries you may have. Create another list, a shopping list, my favourite list, and start to shop for everything. It doesn't matter whether it's a month in advance or 6 weeks or 2 weeks in advance. What I've done so far is those kind of things. So I'm just in the preparation stages. The other thing I have done is I have washed all the clothes that I haven't worn for ages because they haven't been used, because they haven't been on holiday. Things like bikinis, swimsuits, shorts. Although the weather is nice here now, there's been no need for me to wear any shorts yet this year. So anything that I know I'm going to take on holiday, hasn't been used or worn for a long time, I have actually washed them to refresh them all, and I have ironed them as well. And I know some people will say, why are you ironing them, Polly? Because they're going in the suitcase, they're going to get all crumpled up anyway. But I do think that ironing them does help them a little bit in the suitcase. They might get a bit crumpled depending on how you fold your items, but they won't be as bad as if you don't iron them in the first place. So I do make a point of washing well in advance, 1 or 2 weeks in advance, ironing everything. And then I like to create a nice big space. If you haven't got a spare bedroom, unfortunately I have at the moment because my son is at uni, so I'm using his bedroom, but you could just use your kitchen table or your lounge. And what you want to do eventually is just lay out all the things that you think you might take or want to take and start to pack. But as you start to pack, you may inevitably find you've got too much. If you've got too much stuff, you can start to narrow it down, and you don't have to do it last minute. If you start packing about 5 to 7 days before your holiday, you will naturally pack methodically because you won't be too stressed at that point. Well, I hope you won't. and you'll be able to take just enough. The key is to travel as light as possible. Don't forget, unless you're going to Outer Mongolia, whatever you need is going to be in the next country anyway. So if you have forgotten something, it's not going to be a problem. You can always pick up a cheap version while you're over there. So pack as light as possible, but always take the essentials. And so in next week's video, I will actually show you my actual packing process once I've done all the checking, all the sorting out, got all my documents together, got all the clothes together that I think I might want to take. And then I'm actually going to pack. And that's when I'm going to show you all the packing tips and tricks as well, including the tumble dryer sheet trick. So this week's masterpiece by the Invisible Chef is Confit duck in a red wine and cherry sauce and some very special chips. However, the Invisible Chef said they went wrong. With the potatoes for this recipe, you slice them thinly with a mandolin and then you parboil. You steam dry and you add to a mixing bowl and season well. Then you need to put melted beef or duck fat and pour over the potatoes until they are completely covered. You add to a baking tray in layers and then press down really hard with another baking tray and heavy objects and refrigerate them, preferably for 12 hours. However, we didn't have 12 hours, we had about 2. But you then cut them into rectangles, deep fry them until golden. But the mistake apparently that was made was we used too big a tin, not enough weight to press them down, and didn't refrigerate them for long enough. So they ended up a bit like potato chips, a bit like crisps. But as far as I'm concerned, the whole thing was absolutely delicious. And how the duck was done, all the ingredients and the method is listed in the description box down below for you. don't normally have a Costa very often, but this is their new tropical mango frappe, and oh my days, what the perfect summer drink. I love mango anyway. I love the flavour of mango, but this is that's something else. It's very, very sweet, but you need a bit of sugar, don't you, on a hot day? That's my scientific theory. That's so good. So good. That's nearly as good as my first coffee of the day. It's amazing. So at the end of the week, I took a trip to the Invisible Chef's house, and he's still concentrating on getting that garden looking absolutely beautiful. It's such a transformation. If you go back into previous videos where you would have seen what it looked like when he moved in to how it looks now, it's an absolutely idyllic place to be. He had a few new items that he wanted to pot, so I gave him a little bit of a hand. I started by putting some holes in these plastic pots, and that way they can drain, and I filled them up for him, put them in his garden, then we sat back, relaxed. Oh, and he cooked for me again. We had a lovely barbecue with some lamb. It was delicious. So here we are having our moment on the bed, and look at my hair, it's all sort of sticking in the wrong direction and all over the place. I do apologise, but I've been at work today, and since I've come home I've been in the garden doing some jobs and watering the garden and all that kind of stuff. Isn't it lovely to have these bright, sunny, light evenings that go on for hours? I love it. It just means that day feels so much longer, and somehow you feel more productive, and it's just lovely getting some fresh air and being in the garden when I get home from the office. It's great. And of course it's a bank holiday for us here this weekend in the UK, so some of us have got tomorrow off as well, including me, which I'm rather chuffed about. And yeah, quite a few plans for this weekend. Some more lovely cooking is going to be going on by the Invisible Chef, I'm sure, so there'll be other things, other lovely delicious delights to show you in next week's video. And of course in next week's video I am also going to start packing and show you my tips and tricks. I've made a few purchases of some things that will help and assist you to pack. Curious, are you? Well, I'll show you all that next week anyway, so that's yet to come. And yeah, that holiday is getting ever closer, and as you know, Nancy hasn't appeared in this week's video, and she wasn't in last week's video either as well, but she is absolutely fine and she loves being on the channel, so I will try and include her this week. But we just seem to have been a bit disjointed with our going out this week, and a couple of days it's been a bit warm, so I've had to sort of change the times I've been out with her, and then my car's been in the garage, and anyway, we've been a little bit all over the place this week, but she is absolutely fine. And the only thing I'm really concerned about with this holiday, and it's just a little bit of anxiety, I suppose, is leaving her for a week, which I know is going to be fine, and I'm sure is going to be fine, because my daughter's here. She's got a couple of days off work, so she's going to be able to take Mum out and about in her and go shopping and all those kind of things. My lovely brother-in-law Michael is coming over probably a day, maybe even 2 days, and we'll take her out somewhere. So she's going to have company. She's going to be able to do her shopping. She's going to be able to get out. It looks like the weather is going to stay really nice, which is great, because the other thing that Mum loves to do is sit in her garden. And of course, if she's in the house all day, if she's restricted to the house because of bad weather and I'm at work or for whatever reason, that's when she gets a bit bored and a bit troubled by being on her own. But if the weather's lovely, she'll happily sit in the sun and sit in the garden. So fingers crossed the weather stays nice. But I'm anxious about leaving her, because I've been her registered carer for 4 years now, and I haven't had a holiday in 4 years. So whilst I'm really, really looking forward to my holiday, I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to my holiday, I am anxious about leaving her, and I will miss her as well, and I know that she'll miss me, but I know she'll be fine. It's just that it's going to be a complete change of routine for both of us. So the routine might throw her a little bit, but I will check in with her every day, obviously, and I'm sure it's all going to be great. But I am naturally kind of concerned. I'd be interested to know if any of you are carers, have been in the same sort of position, whether you've been caring for a parent or parents or someone else, maybe it's your job, and then you get that time off and you are cautious as to who's looking after them in your absence, or are they going to get bothered by a change of routine and all those kind of things. So I'm probably overthinking it a little bit, but I am a little bit anxious. But I'm sure that perhaps a couple of days into the holiday, once I'm there and I've got used to it and I've started to relax, I'm sure that anxiety will go. But yeah, it's going to be different for us both. Anyway, on to a bit of concerning news this week, and it's just a bit of a heads up for you and just a little reminder warning as well. But unfortunately, this week I appear to have been the victim of what is known as sex tortion. My God. And blackmailing. And what's happened is I have been contacted by someone who purports to be a follower here on the channel and through my other social media platforms, and has managed to WhatsApp me with various blurred out screenshot pictures of myself, my son and my daughter, and has been threatening me and blackmailing me that they believe they've got inappropriate material of me that they're going to put on the internet should I not pay up, basically. So obviously this is a scam. Obviously they have just managed to get into my Instagram, my Facebook, my YouTube channel here, and interestingly managed to get my WhatsApp telephone number. I'm not quite sure how they've done that bit. But all they've done is they've taken pictures and they've screenshotted stuff off the videos here off the channel, blurred out the pictures, sent me a load of photographs and lots of threatening messages. So I have put measures into place to protect my accounts from this kind of scam. It's a very, very common scam, apparently, and it's one of them. You put yourself onto social media and I suppose you expose yourself a little bit and people are going to try and take advantage of it. I understand that, but it's wholly unpleasant. The language was wholly unpleasant. The threat is wholly unpleasant, especially when they make comments of your children and although neither of my children are minors, that's not the point. You know, there's a threat toward them as well as myself, which is awful. And I would actually advise anybody that receives such a scam to go to the authorities and to keep, if you can, screenshots of the messages or anything like that you get, but obviously to block, report and delete where necessary, which is what I have done. So what I've actually done is I've also made my Instagram profile now private. So if you would like to join me on Instagram, you're very welcome to still request, and I will accept you if I know that you are a genuine follower here and you're interested. But I've changed everything from public to private, so you can still find me, but I've just taken some different measures because it's really unpleasant and it's awful, and a lot of people will fall for the scam as well. Or I mean, it doesn't even matter whether in your past you have done something inappropriate or not. I'm not going to tell you either way, and well, actually I am going to tell you either way. There's nothing inappropriate about me that anybody's ever going to find, but you know, each to their own. People do things with whoever and whatever, and if somehow it gets out there, there's always that risk that someone is going to fall for the scam thinking, oh, have they really got that about me, and where have they managed to get that from? And maybe they will post it on the internet, and people will fall for the scam, get into communication with the scammer, and sometimes do end up falling for the blackmail and paying up. But it's horrible, and the threat is horrible. And so all I was going to say here was just please be really, really cautious, both with your own social media and any communications, whether it's via WhatsApp, phone, mobile, email, whatever it is. But also be cautious on the channel here. Please keep any comments within YouTube's community guidelines, which I'm sure all my regular followers do, because I get nothing but lovely comments, and they are monitored anyway. So if there was anything wholly inappropriate, I don't think YouTube would let it through. But I do get the odd one that's a bit weird that comes through. I do get people requesting money off me, and or, you know, supporting or donating to something that I've never heard of before. You do get it. But if you ever receive a message or a communication that looks like it's from me, and I'm asking you to WhatsApp me and a number is given, it's not me. It's absolutely not me. I will never, ever, ever ask you to WhatsApp me. The only way you can communicate with me is by commenting on this channel underneath the videos below, as you know, or sending me a direct email. My email is always listed in the description box below, or contacting me through Instagram and Facebook, which is now private, but I will still accept you if you request to follow me. Those are the only ways you can get in touch with me. And the only way I will communicate back with you is a reply comment down below or a direct email from me. But I will never, never give you a telephone number. I will never ask you to WhatsApp me, and I will never ask you for money. I will never ask you for anything other than your wonderful company here on the channel. So it's just a little bit of a heads up, really, just a little reminder on how we treat the channel, how we treat each other here on the channel, and to be safe, to be as safe as possible, which is difficult in this cyber world that we now live in. It is truly difficult. But anyway, needless to say, the messages that I have been horrible, absolutely dreadful, the content of which was horrible. And it basically is blackmail. That's what it is. It's blackmail. So anyway, I've taken the necessary steps that I need to at this stage. So just be cautious and careful yourselves. And now that I've said that, let's forget all about it, because it is a scam and we can move on from it. I'm not going to get distressed by it. And my son and my daughter know all about it. They're not going to get distressed by it. My son is not actually on any social media whatsoever. He removed himself off social media completely, probably a year or so ago now. So, you know, it is what it is, and they are safe and they are fine. So don't worry. But it is awful how these people operate, And what I do know is whoever it was is in Texas, of all places. But there you go. It's a funny old world, isn't it? Anyway, actually, now the evening is still really sunny here, I'm going to get back out in that garden and do a little few more jobs. So I am going to round up this week's video here. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this week's video, and I can't wait for the next couple of weeks. You are going to get a great vlog in a couple of weeks' time of this holiday that I'm going on. I'm going to tell you now, I'm actually going to be going to Menorca. So I'm really looking forward to that. I have been before some years ago. I took the children when they were little, but we only went for a long weekend because I was on my own with the children. I think it was possibly one of the first times I'd taken them abroad on my own. So it was a bit of a test. So I think we only went for 3 days, and we didn't have a car or anything. So we pretty much stayed put just in the sort of resort that we were in, and the pool and the beach was right there. So I haven't seen too much of it. I don't remember too much about it. So I'm really looking forward to going back, really looking forward to it. And I'm going for a week. So I'm hopefully going to have lots and lots to show you. And maybe actually next week's video, because I've been doing a bit of research about the island, I might actually have a little, I don't know, a little chat with you about what I'm likely to see. And apparently Menorca has some fabulous beaches, and I might do a sort of top 5 of what I understand to be the best beaches in Menorca. And then when I get there, I might find those 5 beaches and see whether they really live up to the expectation of being the best beaches that they've got. Maybe I'll do something like that. But there's going to be a lot of travel and packing tips for you. Lots of other things. Invisible Chef will be back next week, and I will get Nancy back in the video next week as well. So until then, I shall see you next Sunday, same time, same place. Stay safe. Please stay very, very safe, especially with what I've just been talking about. Please stay really, really safe. Stay in the boat and keep doing all things good. And I look forward to seeing you next Sunday. Until then, take care. Bye.